Hello and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is Tuesday, July 14th, and we're just kind of floating around. So over the weekend, and finishing up yesterday, I basically was working towards crafting the Forge of the Gods. And to get there, had to kind of was like slowly working on random stuff around the base, with the main thing where we left off last week was to set up a QFT for Radox. Now I cannot. I think where I left off, if I'm remembering correctly, I didn't have. I should have checked before I recorded this. I didn't have this guy crafted and set up yet, but I did get this set up. I want to say Saturday. Yeah, that would make sense. I'm thrown off but set this guy up, immediately got it running. It's only making Kevlar at this second, but you see running a couple of these catalysts for ultimate plasticizer. This basically gives us Radox, Kevlar, Zine, all that stuff. To get there and to be not have it take forever because I was waiting on a ton of Radox, I basically came over here and upgraded everything. I added a second one of these guys, the industrial coke oven, fully decked out with the exception of the coils. They're just hydrogen coils. Added a second row of this, which I believe I had blocked out, but then I upgraded everything to Ivy. I was at some point tempted to upgrade it to with wireless hatches to even more, but ultimately decided against that. I think just because I had so many things trying to craft. And then once I fired the Forge of the Gods craft off, I also fired off the UMV field generator quest, or field generator. You can see I've got 64 of these guys right here. Now, a little after crafting the Forge of the Gods stuff, spoiler, I realized that 2.9.2 seems to have added a whole new assembly line mechanic that I don't believe was in 0.1, because I feel like I would have noticed this. But it is this Bosse, where is it? No, here it is. Bosse, I'm probably saying this wrong. I'll look. I'm gonna say it later. Bosse Einstein condensate line, or I say line as in like there appears to be, at least according to the wiki, four blocks for it. Not blocks, multi-blocks. So I set up a thing to craft the first one I have to craft to be able to unlock the next few. However, currently I'm short biocatalyst, so I haven't fired that off. Actually, I'm going to, while I'm saying here, I did mean to fire it off before, and I can just wait on the biocatalyst. That's fine. I do plan on setting up one of the goal to try to work on will be, in general, will be to expand the QFTs, because now with tier 4 available, the Radox was the most important one to get going. The next one will be the biocatalyst, and then from there, I need to craft another tier 3 at the very least to get growth catalyst back in there, so I'm not waiting on that later. But so today, the bit I could play, I basically was setting up all the research and or recipes for all these different multi-blocks, including all the random structural blocks that goes with it. On a random side note, the other thing I noticed while doing this is I think I have the ability to start working on antimatter as well, which I assumed was later, but I mean, I guess we are in the second to last tier of the hack, so I guess later is now. And while I'm thinking about it, that reactor, did this thing craft? It was not. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted a NAC refinery. What a new NAC refineries. I wonder if this will give me fireworks. It did not. I had to redo the research for this guy as well because he's one of the new multi-blocks. So the old one, you can see I got it in here, wasn't working. I also set this up because it was annoying me in 82 to have all these random patterns that'll never get touched again. So let me throw this guy in. Hopefully it doesn't power fail this. Oh wow, it's actually really fast. After all the Bosse Einstein ones, they required so much computation. Like that one barely required anything. One of the other things I did, so obviously I didn't set that up. I'll try to set up at least the first one tomorrow and then kind of see where it goes. As far as I can understand it, we typed this in here. These multi-blocks here all essentially make up the new, basically a new late game assembly line is my understanding. Now I don't know if there's specific input hatches. It looks like there's a nanite thing, so there's probably some stuff there. I don't know anything about this. There's not even a quest in the quest book yet, so I'm pretty sure it's just added. But it does appear like this is gating progression somewhat. I cannot remember what I saw on it. I think it was in the block specifically. Yeah, so the next upgrade for the Forge of the Gods is this second ring. Those are the blocks that make it up, and it can only be crafted in this new assembly line thing. So I'm working on that. Sorry, it's a little rambly because I don't really have anything set up for that. The next thing I did, though, just to kind of experiment and test around, was set up this thing, which is the new ore processing plant. Now, I will say I have a 65,000 amp UIV laser into this. If you look at 30 seconds for like 110 dust, for lack of a better word. However, these guys up here are like substantially faster. Once I came up here and I was like, I didn't want to keep moving stuff around. I wanted to get everything caught up. So I just bit the bullet while I was waiting to craft other stuff. And in between building more of those guys, because these are the new blocks, I upgraded all these to 2 wireless UMV hatches. So UXV, these things were going so fast. Like it was actually like putting a strain on my distilled water and stuff. Like I had to redo how I entered distilled water into the system because it was just everything was going so fast. And clearly, it looks like it completely caught up, or it's out of space, which it might have just deleted a bunch of stuff, which would be a little sad. Yeah, so I set up, oh geez, it's 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This has only been set up for a couple hours, but these should be all the dust, and it should have like basically cleared out this, I would imagine. Oh yeah, everything that's less than 8,000. So I got this guy all caught up, this is like a really old holdover all the way back from like, I want to say like Ivy, maybe LUV, where I set this building up and originally had all the ores dumping into here. So to finish clearing it out, I just need to set to one of these to a lower stack size. So, but long story short, it makes me feel like I have this set up wrong or I'm misunderstanding something, because this new block with laser hatch at way more amperage is substantially slower than those guys. And maybe it just needs to be a higher tier. Like it might be locked behind like voltage tier, the amount of overclocks it can get or something, but this thing's slow. These at UXV were so fast. But I got to imagine because they added the laser hatch support that like I'm probably just fundamentally misunderstanding something and need to tweak it a little bit. But that does mean I added the capacitor to make this wireless. Just if you've never seen it before, I used to power the ore processing off its own vacuum nuke setup that's now turned off and disconnected from the main network and everything. Although these guys are still at their temperature, so you'll occasionally see like flames show up if you stand around, or if I stand close to it, it'll try to injure me. But so we got that done. For actual mass fabrication or mass crafting, I did do a little work over here. Nothing too crazy, but I did come through, and one of the biggest ones that I've just been lazy about and really shouldn't have is these guys, the hyper laser engravers. I crafted a bunch of 64 amp UMV hatches because these are definitely at high enough of a laser tier, and threw all those in just to kind of isolate it from itself. And as well as I have this set up back here. So I'm moving a ton of patterns over. The first ones I really moved over were like these guys because they slow down the circuits. Started moving over the masks as well as the engraved chips, more masks, and the photonically enhanced. So this by itself was a huge speed increase. And then the other thing, a couple other things I did over here. So I did finally upgrade my space pumps to, in this case, the Mark IV motors, so I could get more space pumps, and the Mark II pumps, which are cool because these can run more parallels and 4 separate recipes per pump. So for example, this guy back here is running all my different moltons that you can get from it, lead, copper, iron, tin. And I really wanted to set these up because they unlock a cheaper singularity. Like if we look at iron singularity, for example, we could do blocks, or we could just do molten iron singularity right into there, and boom, this is faster. This one does need to be done in the black hole thing, but that's no problem. And then the next little update over here. So I went through all of these. I did test, like I said, I did test to see if breaking this, you could get away with not breaking the controller, but you can't. Did all upgrade all these to be UMV hatches so they can overclock even more, because the overclock is limited by the current tier of the energy hatch, as well as the component blocks, which at some point in the relatively soon future, I'll craft a bunch of UMV component blocks to replace all these over here to help speed up everything even more. And all these are set up the same now for that. They all have the 4000 UMV amp or laser amp. So I'm moving decently well. And you can even see in here, I've got 1,000 and 1,220 circuits crafted since swapping this out. So I am crafting a decent amount of higher tier. Over here, though, one little change I made to this guy, the black hole stabilizer. So with the specifically crafting the Forge of the Gods, I had the time, basically this guy locked up because I had too big of a recipe in here, and it didn't, apparently the system wasn't handled to like reset itself. So I set up this lever right here, which will trigger this specific frequency, which is the frequency that triggers when an item first goes in. However, if an item's already in here and this has gone into like a fail state because I don't have enough black hole seeds or whatever, which is what happened, this will kick everything running again. So, and I also finally smartened up and added this black hole room, so I can actually like teleport in and out of here, as well as up here, just because I was flying over here a ton. For over here, didn't really change up too much besides what I already showed. I'm pretty sure I forgot to show off upgrading these rings, like they've been in the background, but I did add these rings to this guy so it can run at UIV, and I've been slowly moving all my recipes over here. But really, all of that has been in service of... Here she is, the Forge of the Gods. Now, I wish I could say it was operatable and I could explain how it works and all this stuff, but for today, this is more just for the beauty shot. There's no modules on it. It doesn't work yet. It is fully formed and all that stuff, but my goal tomorrow, I should have plenty of free time comparatively today, is to figure out how this guy operates, get it operational, as well as that other multi-block I was just talking about, the Bose-Einstein thing, and kind of go forward from here. It's a little bit shorter of a Monday video. Like I said, there are a ton of other random little hatch upgrades and energy upgrades and stuff I did, but tomorrow should be more like actual progress and talk about this guy and how it works once I learn that myself. I know I gotta supply fuel and stuff, but it also, I will say, it also did not like having input buffers on here, so I had to swap to these hatches, so that was interesting. The last real minor thing, I should have got to this before the Forge of the God reveal, was over here. I did, because the Forge of the God also pulls from the wireless network, I did go ahead and drop down the other 4 Dyson swarms I'd set up and got them all operational. I crafted enough swarms and all that stuff for it. So this guy's all like, this is a complete set. If I want to utilize these more for power, I'll have to just copy paste and craft more. Maybe, I assume I'll probably want another set before I figure out antimatter, but if I can figure out antimatter, I'm pretty sure that makes a substantial amount more power, and this will just be kind of like a nice passive, easy to main background. Though promise last note, the Dyson swarms, just a heads up, this recipe definitely changed with 9.2 or beta 2. Got all this extra stuff in here. Like, these are way, I don't know if way more expensive is the right word. They definitely require a lot more stuff. I had to put in a ton of random patterns and get a couple things going. Like, you actually need the core. And I kind of like this because it means like it kind of like references earlier power. Though I never did make the core. I abandoned vac nukes long before that. I went from vac nukes to plasma power. So anyway, like I said, tomorrow work on figuring out how to make the Forge of the Gods work and hopefully set up that other assembly line. And then, just as I'm doing that, upgrade other random stuff throughout the base. If I do not get this running tomorrow or the other one running tomorrow, I'll probably wait till Thursday to make another video instead of just going around pointing out everything I've just upgraded the hatches on. But we will see. This thing should be the goal, and I am looking forward to it. So yeah, I hope everybody has a good night, and I will see you in the next couple days. Goodbye.